Thank you, Dr. Saab. Dr. Amar Patnaik.
Sir. Sir, in this House, I think one particular theme which has run through is this sector should help maximum number of people of this country. There cannot be any two questions on the fact that people need insurance. Therefore, I'll start with the statistics. And the statistics says, as probably would have been, as was discussed before, that in 2019, our penetration, insurance penetration is 3.76% against the global average of 7.23%, almost half. Now, if you look at the insurance density, which is per capita premium, it is even worse. Our figure at $55 in 2015 and $78 in 2019 is 1/10 of what the per capita premium in the world is concerned. Therefore, there is no denying the fact that we need to have more insurance cover for the people of this country, which is what we are talking about. And this bill essentially tries to do the same. We have mentioned at various places that whether this had gone through some kind of consultation process. Here I would like to refer to the Select Committee of Rajya Sabha Chair Dr. Chandan Mitra in 2014, when he says that insurance companies are regulated by stringent solvency norms and continuously require additional capital for growth. He noted that enhanced foreign equity will not only help in expansion of insurance coverage, but also potentially enable transfer of technical know-how. I think the objectives of this bill exactly address this particular fact of supplementing domestic long-term capital, technology, and skills. I must also say, sir, that equity capital for infrastructure financing has been not very successful in this country so far, and therefore, this particular method of opening up the sector for equity capital is, I think, welcome. The other aspect that I would like to say is the innovations in the products that can come into the market, into the insurance market because of the private players, particularly foreign direct investors. There are two aspects, which are very important in this insurance. That is the cost of the product. What will be the cost and what would be the return? The second one would be commissions, the intermediation cost. What would be, how much would that be? Now, if it is very high, then actually the insurer, the person who is getting insured and the insurer, the relationship becomes unequal. The insured person really doesn't get the benefit. The market dynamics should ordinarily take care of this particular aspect by decreasing the cost and also removing intermediation. That we have seen in the case of mutual funds, that we have seen in case of other financial products, and I hope this would probably come into this sector, and this would have played into the mind of the government while bringing in this product. But there are problems. There are problems of regulation. In fact, I would like to highlight here that the moment we open this sector to FDI and are getting foreign players into the market, our regulation has to become even more robust and stringent. The regulations would require that the biggest problem in the insurance sector is mis-selling. Investment and insurance are two different things. And tragedy is that many of the problems in this sector is based on this, and the insurance regulator, that is the IRDA, has probably not been very successful. I'm not saying that it has not made any attempt. It has, but it has not been very successful. In fact, I would urge the finance minister to kindly look at the IRDA Act to make the regulation mechanism even more stringent. The mis-selling also results in something called as the lapse ratio. That is, many people are not having the ability to buy a product because they're looking at it as an investment as well as an insurance product. High premiums have to be paid and the returns are low. They have been sold this particular product. In the end, they cannot, after some years, they drop out and that money goes back to the company. Now, this particular aspect has to be stopped. Similarly, the disclosures have to be made much more open, much more transparent, and the accountability mechanism should be allowed to be much more stringent. I also have another suggestion for the Honorable Finance Minister that is relating to sectoral arbitrage. The are always there. Now, what could be the regulatory failures? That could be cartelization. Therefore, the presence of a public sector insurer has to be there. The bill doesn't really take it away. It only is an enabling provision. Therefore, I think even though the risk is there, we can minimize that risk by continuing with a public sector insurer. The other risk is audit and inspection failures. A number of the insurance regulatory authorities' activities depend on inspections, surveillance, and audit. But we have seen previously that there have been several failures. And if such a failure happens, what would be the response of the regulatory authority? How do they mitigate this kind of risk are something that they have to work on. The other point is that the regulation is always one step behind market. That has always been the situation. Therefore, it is very important that our regulator has the intellectual capital, has the competence and the expertise to analyze and quickly jump into mitigating and preventing mitigating action, and in some cases maybe punitive action in case of failures. Now, I probably think that this is one area where the regulatory authority has to look into it. Honorable Finance Minister must address this. The last point that I would like to highlight is the point relating to removing the subsection 7 of section 27. The point is it advisable? We have heard of asset bubbles. I know that by having those safeguard clauses of directors being located in India, by transferring a part of the profit to the reserves, are they adequate to address the issue of having of the claims not being supported by adequate asset cover? And this was a provision which was earlier there in the Act, which has now been removed. I would probably think that Honorable Finance Minister would definitely have looked into this aspect, but may require a revisit. So the provision relating to, there has been questions relating to the pull-out. If certain player decides to pull out suddenly from the market, it will vitiate and completely vitiate the market in the short term and maybe even in the long term. What are the safeguards for that? Now, this is also another point that has to be addressed. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much for allowing me this. Thank you.
Shri Syed Jafar Islam.
Thank you very much, sir, for giving me this opportunity to speak